Okie dokie, we're back. Hello again, guys. Corsair Cup semifinals kicking off here as we hop into Odyssey for the first map. Just waiting on the players to ready up as Namshar went to go grab something to drink. If I had to guess, it's Coke. This dude loves his Coca-Cola.
You should go to Atlanta.
No, nobody should ever go to Atlanta unless you want to just like be miserably uncomfortable. Ugh.
He needs to go visit the Coke factory.
No, you know what you need? Okay, if you go to Atlanta, right, you need like a Pope Mobile style car, but like for air conditioning only.
Mobile.
Like it doesn't have to be like bulletproof, it just has to be like air conditioned.
So like a car.
Well, no, because like the Pope Mobile is like tiny. It's like for an individual person. A car's for like 4 people, right? I realize
it's literally a car.
Look, I understand what the mobile part of the word is, okay? But I meant like that glass dome that he sits in on top, right?
I get you. A car with working air conditioning.
Shut the front door, Zombie Girl.
That's pretty good. No, but I was thinking more like a bubble, you know, like Bubble Boy.
But that's not air conditioned.
With air conditioning.
I feel like Bubble Boy actually
is
like the opposite. That's like a thing designed to cook you alive, man. Like it's spherical, so it's actually gonna magnify the light and make it worse. Whereas like the square is not.
Just some water, quote unquote. That makes it sound like it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, Namshar say he went to just get some quote unquote water. I'm like, what is this, like cocaine laced liquid?
Yeah.
Like, why is it so why does it sound so shady, dude?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know. So they're actually on speed. He's on speed right now. It's just playing so good.
Makes sense.
Totally.
Right. By the way, thank you again to, I know this might be a double shout out, Firefighting Freak for that Prime sub, Oak Warrior for 25 months and meow. Then the new guys for show are Anubis Hades. Thank you for the 34 months. Oh, man, that might be the first time in 34 months I didn't call him Anubis Shade. Anubis X Hades. Thank you for almost 3 years with these amazing people. Oak Suyul was a Prime sub and a name I can't pronounce. And then thank you, last but not least, to Off Skip for the 7-month Prime resub. Oh, appreciate you, man. But okay, it's a best of 5 now, guys. No longer best of 3s. Spawning in the bottom right. I don't even know what this team is anymore. They haven't been involved for so long. From Out of Sports, it's the Blue Terran HeroMarine.
In the top left has the red Zerg. It is Dead Pixel's Namshar.
Whoop, whoop. Also, I guess I was going to wait till after to do all the shoutouts, but this guy snuck in there. Lost Higran? Lost Higaran.
I don't know.
Thank you for that Prime sub. HeroMarine, by the way, I believe is streaming his perspective and his point of view. I don't know if it's on a stream delay like ours is or not, so by all means, you guys are welcome to go check out his stream and enjoy seeing some first-person Terran, but just reminder, blanketly, do not bring spoilers back to the channel. You will be banned without a second thought.
Yeah.
Also,
I really... go ahead.
These SCVs sure look pretty cool. Different.
Yeah, the war chest.
Oh!
What a thing.
Wow.
What a beautiful thing. I know.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is best of 5. And I was going to say how HeroMarine has just been impressing me lately. I mean, he's always been a really fun streamer, like educational, to listen to, good Terran player, one of the last European Terran players, sometimes it feels like, type thing. But, you know, he has been playing really well. You know, not just those other qualities, but also playing really well. I might be summer for him. I don't actually know the situation, and that's why he's been able to put so many hours into it. Maybe that's why he's better or what, but he took out Nurchio 3-0.
Yes.
So that's how he got here into the finals.
Yeah, that was the last...
racking up the points that way.
The most recent Corsair Cup, I believe he only dropped 1 map anyways, period. Like, it's not even just that he 3-0'd Nurchio, which is already impressive. 1 map through the entire tournament.
And what I really like on top of this is that he's playing his own style, which feels very reminiscent of like what European Terrans were known for when it was back when they were something considered like, that sounds really rude. When I don't know, there was more of them, and I think they were less about like just copying the Koreans and more like this is what European Terran is. Because, like, we all love Euthermal, right? And he does fantastic, and we're always cheering for him to do really well, but he is, like, kind of just that aggressive Terran that matches what you think of when you think of a Korean Terran. Just obviously not Korean. But when I imagine like European Terrans, I imagine like, you know, the Spoon Terran type deal, right? Like,
I think back to Lucifron and stuff, man.
Well, Lucifron, sure. Like Lucifron Bunny, who was the Spoon Terran? I can't remember his name right now. Thorzane? Yeah. Like, for me, it's like slower, more economic focused. Like, it's not about all-out aggression, cheese, and just almost like rashness, you know, that is both a benefit and a detriment to Ethermal's play. HeroMarine has been really calm and really macro-focused. 3 CC builds, you know, the forward barracks to the Marines to just mix it up a little bit. I say all this, he's doing a Hellbat build, but still.
I actually like his Hellbat pushes though. They were working pretty well, and I just want to note the only reason I like him is because he does the version that has 4 Marines with it, right? Every time we see Hellbats just on their own, it's like a bad trade. It doesn't seem that effective for the Terran. It never seems to overforce Zerg players to react. But with the Marines, it brings that just barely enough killing power to suddenly kill queens, to kill overlords, to shoot up. Like, there's so much value in this, and this is why I like the version HeroMarine does the best.
Yeah. HeroMarine's also following up with a Banshee, so it's really going to be a lot of harassment here. Namshar has a Roachmore, that is just barely well-timed enough, it looks like.
Are on the wrong side of the Hellbats, too, by the way. If these get caught by the Lings, this is going to be really bad.
They're pairing up a little bit better. Roaches coming out from, almost from the natural right into those Hellbats is unideal for sure.
Queen's getting stuck against the Hellbats, too, is also not so good.
Uh-oh. So this is getting a little more chaotic. Like, if the roaches are out and the queens are prepared, like, this is probably cleaned up so easily. So at least it's a little more chaotic because what could have been
9
a
roaches.
very easy cleanup is now not even really a cleanup. This is taking forever to clean
Sick
up.
moves! Nice moves! Like, these are blocking on the ramp, and that's whatever, but he brings the Hellbats over to chase the drones.
He's, like, doing gaining damage with this, man. Like, the drones being off mining for so long and in danger of being killed.
It's like over half the drones soon. He's going to pick up and go for them once again. Helling's running for the backside and chase these down. A lot of these drones getting very low.
All right, so he's not going to get the beautiful drone kills, but still, a lot of lost mining time.
He just might, though, because he killed the queens. There's no spores. All that money has been dumped into roaches. What's going to stop the Banshee?
There are no spore crawlers. That's bad. You know, Namshar very limited
well, forget
scouting.
the Banshee. Hold on. We got some barbecue.
I think Namshar is just dead. He's going to see, he's going to recognize the Banshee just attacking away his third base and realize he doesn't have much of a response to that. A Banshee is also, like, the second Banshee's coming up, too, so it's hopefully going to be able to... Actually, no, they both get stopped at the... Yeah,
You know what, this
that's
is
not
still
gonna do
worth,
anything
though, because Namshar spent so much money in these roaches in the idea that, like, okay, I'll do some damage. But nope, GG and HeroMarine cleans up game number 1. Oh.
Dang. The timing on the roaches really was just so sucky for Namshar. That could have been so much better for him.
There's that part of it too, but also HeroMarine just like, man, we've seen that attack 100 times, and most of the time it does like a little bit of damage enough to give a lead. Not so often game end, I guess you could say, but that was... We know Namshar is not some small fry random player. We just saw him play very well versus Mana, so it's like, cool, HeroMarine's just really on point.
Yeah.
Also, thank you very much to Pandorian916 for that Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it, brother. Untouched Matrix also hit us up for 8 months during that game to say, keep up the good work. Go Zerg.
Well, they're not going right now. They're dying.
Yeah. All Terran. Nerf Terran. OP. Must be the maps. Something like that. I don't know. Balance wise.
Something like that. Well, for me, I look at that. Okay, Aklet's going to be the next map. And it was not a Hellbat build is not new. You're right, like it doesn't usually kill the Zerg player. I think that really was just like bad timing on the Roachmore's part, and also the fact that he was going for Roachmore and he didn't have a lot of queens. Cannot create game on older version of map. Whoa, what? It's Blizzard map. I don't know what else you want to do, StarCraft.
I was gonna say it's like a brand new map too. Here, I'll try making it. See if that works. Is that just the...
What?
Am I getting the same error? No, mine's good if you want to join off me, I guess. And I'll pass it.
Right.
Nope. Can I create game on an older version of the map? Try creating a more recent version if available. What? Here, I'm gonna... If you guys can, someone clip this and send it to Blizzard, right? So here's Acolyte right off the default Blizzard map list. And we go to create it. By the way, this mod is standard and used for everything. Does it work without a mod?
I'll try it.
Yeah, clip this and send it to Blizzard, guys.
No.
To fix this shit. This is this the only map this happens to? What about the other new ones, like Interloper?
Carolina.
I think we're just getting screwed with the Acolyte, dude.
I can't make it with Catalina.
Let me try Catalina.
Namshar, it doesn't work for Namshar either. Oh, well, this is a problem.
Yeah, we can't. Okay, well.
But you can't just like not like.
What about
hey
an older
guys,
version? Because we know like the
Map
map
3.
exists previous to the Blizzard. Yeah, let's just do TLMCA8 or whatever Acolyte. It's gonna be basically the same map. Like, there's very little that was changed between it going live versus not.
Okay.
Executive order, guys. Just work around it. It's just so weird. I wonder like how long that's been an issue for, but nobody picked it up, right? Like,
Probably within the last. Well, I mean, they would have noticed for IAMs probably in the last 2 days. Probably on the same time they fixed it on the Sarif, the map, the cursor map.
yeah, they're like, all right, we fixed the cursor, but guys, just the trade-off. You now can't play 2 of the 7 maps in the map.
I feel like we should tell.
Well, actually, I'm more worried about say Alima League tonight, which already has a 5 map pool. What if the 2 of the 5 maps don't work there?
Okay, well, you know, this is okay, I guess.
We're on the Team Liquid version. Maybe it's gonna be broken. Maybe it'll work just fine. I don't know.
So much for Blizzard map testing it. They gotta map test their own BattleNet.
It feels like it's not a map issue though. This feels like a Blizzard like game issue or something.
BattleNet issue. That's what I was getting at. Everything's falling apart. So I mentioned earlier when like programmers are always making fun of themselves and how like, you know, they're like, this thing doesn't work, this thing doesn't work, this thing doesn't work. I don't know what I changed, but something it now works. You know, those comics. Like I feel that really is just like what StarCraft 2 is. They're just like putting the Jenga block and then one pops out within the notice and they're just like, oh, that's weird.
In our defense, on that note, we did not try turning it off and on again.
Okay, I'll restart StarCraft after this.
Start BattleNet.
Just in case.
Okay, in game number 2 here for the Corsair season finals, it is of course semifinal number 1, game number 2, and in this best of 5 to the bottom left, leading 1-0. Look at all those numbers. What is this, a math stream? Ha, it's HeroMarine.
Well, it's certainly not a science stream. The earlier discussion.
Shut the.
In the top right, as the blue Zerg, it's Namshar.
A correct definition, or a better burn would have been it's not a proper English stream, because I got the words wrong, not the sentiment or the idea.
No, you got the idea wrong too. Like just because the word
No,
you
the way
used also
density
described
works.
oil, use viscosity, right?
Right, I'm saying I got the wording wrong, the English wrong, but the idea of the way I was describing density versus viscosity, if you replace every time I said viscosity with density, it's still an accurate description of what I was describing.
Okay, I feel like this is semantics, which is also English. So just continuing along. Because I feel like if it's like if you don't know like science terms or you mess up the science terms, that's still like you like not knowing the science, even if it's like the English word is what is wrong.
Okay, you can paint a beautiful portrait of a sunset and still call the colors wrong, even though they're the right colors. Like,
well,
this is a green sunset.
That is entiry subjective. I don't even know if you can do that, man.
Well,
That's a whole
all art
field,
is subjective. Right? I mean, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So that just that analogy. I don't know what that one.
All right, well, let's talk about Acolyte real quick. Oh, first off, cool Reaper skin. You're gonna see a buff as hell Reaper coming out of this thing, guys. This is, of course, the Team Liquid version because the latter version is not working. This works out for us though because there really wasn't a lot of changes to the map between its map contest version to the version which went live. Acolyte did not have a bunch of bugged third mineral lines. They didn't have weird golds. This map was still pretty standard even in its test phase. I think they mostly changed the colors and a couple of small details here and there. So this should be pretty much standard to what we've seen. It's just, again, to note it is not the ladder version because it's unavailable.
Yeah. Cool Reaper.
Also, I guess the other thing about this map too, we still haven't got to see a lot of this, right? Like, we're only just now jumping into the map pool with our tournaments, as last season's maps were all wrapping up in the season finals, including at DreamHack Atlanta. But this map's a pretty nice one. I like it because it's standard. It's not too weird. It's got that pocket base. It's not nearly as safe as, say, Proxima Station was, but you have the same 3-base layout with it. So if your goal is to play macro, you totally can.
Nothing's going to be as safe as Dusk Towers, and then Proxima takes the second place trophy for that one. But Acolyte is pretty safe.
Is Dusk Towers the 2-player or the 4-player one?
Dusk Towers is 2-base, but easy 4 bases.
Because there's that 4-base one, or the 4-player Deadwing. I think Deadwing was the most safe. Because you could get 4 bases off of 1 choke.
No, you get 3 bases off of 1 choke.
Well, I guess it's like kind of 1.5 chokes, I guess, because like if you're defending the 3rd, you're defending the 4th too, basically.
Are you though? Well, I mean, kind of. You get to go down a ramp. Well, anyways, I think it's the same idea though. It's literally the same idea as Dusk Towers. So there's like that's what I was gonna say. Like I think there's really a lot of you gotta have like a real debate about which one is the safest map that's ever been created.
What was that? There's that island map. That's probably technically the safest.
The island map. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Because so like, funny if you bring that up, and what I was gonna bring up about Acolyte and why it's a little bit less safe, even though you can get 3 bases very easily. Obviously, the 4th base isn't as easy as those maps that we mentioned, but on top of that, it has a little bit of the Alterzim Stronghold problem, which that's a throwback. Where Alterzim Stronghold was supposed to be very safe because the idea of an in-base expansion is always like fairly safe. 3rd base and whatever aside, but what really happened is this, was despite being an absolutely huge map with an in-base natural, that in-base natural is more of a liability. Muta is coming in, War Prism's coming in, dropships coming in. There was just so much dead space around it that it was just always difficult to take secure, and that's what the whole thing is supposed to be about, security. So certainly drops of any sort and mutas are going to be a pain if they come out at all. Of course, Ling Hydra Baneling might not be an issue in this game.
Can't wait till War Chest Month 2 or whatever starts up so you can get more of these skins unlocked. The Banshee one looks pretty cool from the preview.
Yeah. I've been playing and getting my War Chest stuff. Feels pretty cool.
Any particular favorites yet?
Not really. It's all good though. Yeah. Anyways, I don't really like that it pops up saying like, "Hey, you added to your war chest" every single time.
Oh, at the top right or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first I was like, "Ooh," and then I was like, "Oh no, no, you can stop that now."
They're there. All right, so a couple of drones get picked off, but really not much. This is hardly the damage we saw out of last game, but it's also hardly the same attack. HeroMarine with the 3rd base, already down, finished, and orbitalized, is already moving on to tanks and stim, and well, frankly, all the tech that he would want to have.
Yeah. So the way that HeroMarine took out Nurchio was some part to do with like Hellbat pushes. I remember one at least taking out Nurchio just as almost as easily as it took out Namshar in that last game, but also off the back of just like really strong macro play, like going into 3cc very early or earlier than other builds, 2-1-1 Hellbat builds, all that stuff, and just having like solid macro, not depending on what damage double drop could do, or the Hellions could do, or even a tank push could do, different maps, all that. But rather really just waiting until a very sizable army supply. There is a double drop. I'll see how conservative he plays with this. Namshar is going for a Spire, so no Ling Hydra play this time.
Oh, by the way, I guess some people in chat misunderstood what I was referring to. I don't remember the name. I didn't mean a map where it was like all island bases, but there was like that one map that had an island in the bottom left and the top right that nobody overtook. It was kind of like a space station style map.
Oh, yeah. There's a famous Flash game on that one that was really good, ZvT. It was huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're talking about the same map.
Like
maybe. Yeah, okay. Oh, that was not very good at all.
Well, it was great for Namshar.
Well, that's true. That is absolutely true. That was great for Namshar. HeroMarine, I said, like, okay, we'll see how conservative he is with this. And then it was just, the answer was, like, not very much. Unloading his Marines, and then they got like, that far into creep. like, that was just a delayed reaction. He should have been able to pick those up, to be honest, but he was just asking for it while being on creep.
Yeah, it's always difficult to justify making that push in, but I think one of the big things is Namshar has recognized that HeroMarine is consolidated in one spot. There's not like a second drop going after the main, and he knows this primarily because of his creep spread and his overlord spread, so he's able to focus on this part of the map because of his great map awareness. I mean, seriously, he's got about a quarter of the map, almost half the map covered at this point.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Certainly the way that HeroMarine can play, whether it's really passive or in this case, just getting your drop hardcore denied, is going to lead to some pretty good creep spread for the Zerg player.
That scan was pretty important for a couple different reasons. One, it saw the actual mutas. Two, it saw the tech, so he knew to immediately throw down turrets and start Thors. This will help with the mutas a little bit, but these aren't the bigger problem. It's still going to lie heavily in A, map control. I mean, look at the creep spread, right? And then B, the lings and mainlings.
Yeah, but I think that... Whoa. So Namshar makes mutas, but almost as like a step that he feels he needs to get to. Like, it's not, but it almost feels that way because he's really not making any more, and he goes straight into a hive right after, where usually there's more of a time on the mid game for the Zerg player.
HeroMarine turns around, he would have caught these fairly out of position.
So I bring that up because if HeroMarine realizes, like, oh, Namshar's not really committing to this mid game, he is just trying to get super late game. His push, it's gonna have 2-2, it's gonna have a lot of tanks. Like, he could absolutely continue taking great fights and steadily push through this creep before ultras are ready.
That is the weak point of every Zerg player. It doesn't matter what region you're from or how good you are. It is that transition that is always the
he's pretty
vulnerability. But oh my god, he was clumped up, he was on creep. This goes horribly for HeroMarine. The push is completely destroyed. Marines on the left side cleaned up by the banelings, and the Mutalisks now chasing back. The Medivacs tank's gone, and only really a Thor and a handful of Marines remain. This is bad.
Oh man, awfully surprising that HeroMarine takes now 2 bad fights. You know, both the really only fights he was going to take, and they're both bad. That's very detrimental. Yeah, on creep, not behind the tanks, just not very spread either. Odd stuff right there. Now Namshar should feel very comfortable getting to an Ultralisk Cavern. I like that HeroMarine, I think he was planning on doing this anyways, but also it's a good thing because he lost that push like he did. He goes to a 4th. Like, he's got to play to the late game now. There's no pre-ultra timing win here. Not now without that splash damage, and he has to rebuild his tanks from 0, but luckily with double factory.
Well, I guess while the tanks are going to be a very important element to this, again, having everything to do with like taking out the banelings because there's no Widow Mines, he's starting to move into Marauders. My concern is he's not going to have enough Marauder production though. He's just now getting those extra tech labs. We'll start seeing those pick up. I do like all these extra turrets to cover his production. That's kind of cool. Oh, but the depots are down. The lings are in by. Full surround on top of the army. Namshar going to find HeroMarine completely out of position for this. These depots are down too. Oh no!
Whoopsie poops.
He finally races them only to block out his own army.
Yeah, realizing his mistake. I mean, he responds very quickly, so this does not get out of hand, and he has enough army to cover every single base from just about that was under attack. So this is not too big of a deal. But it certainly was a lot of chaos.
It forced a lift at the natural, which was weird. Maybe a misclick? I don't know. SCV's running around from 3 different bases, though. Nobody mining, and this is still not getting cleaned up, so it's starting to get a couple more kills.
Yeah, now it's a little more detrimental. But still 10 is not as bad as that could have been. You know, there could have been reactors burning down and easily 2 SCV lines under attack, but that wasn't so bad. So 4th base, turning into a planetary. HeroMarine back up to almost max. Unfortunately, he doesn't really have answers to ultras. Really good answers to ultras anyway. 4 tanks, not that impressive. 3 Thors, not really going to be what's going to take out ultras. And these ultras are going to be fully upgraded in like 30 seconds. So, I don't know about this for HeroMarine. This push looks like a bad idea, but maybe if he gets into a choke. Well, this is not all the army. Now here comes the rest of the army. Transfuses on those ultras. Banelings from the back.
This is the sandwich of death right here. The Medivacs do save some of the army, but that's a huge dip for HeroMarine. And at this point, you're like, oh, well, Rifkin, the army supply is still kind of close, but really it's not. It's type of supply that matters at this point. These Marines, as good as they are not going to take on ultras.
Right.
Focusing the planetary, I don't know.
You know, if there was a dozen Marauders, if there was 7 tanks, then that might have been a mistake, but it's just GG.
Okay, Namshar manages to tie things up now 1-1. But it is, once again, guys, the best of 5, so we're nowhere close to the end of the series yet. Got to give some big shout-outs before this commercial break to Paul S2 for the 10-month Prime sub, and Lilin Sui for 14 months. Thank you for coming back. He says, greets from Sweden. Woo! But, yes, a quick commercial break, and we'll see you guys soon for Game 3. Be right back. No, I don't miss that intro. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's game number 3. Things are tied up 1-1 here in this best of 5. And to the lower right, we've got the Red Zerg Dead Pixels Namshar.
In the middle left, it is the Blue Terran HeroMarine.
Interesting choice of tactics for Catalina, but I have heard that this is the most annoying thing to deal with for most Zerg players right now. From both some lower tier masters as well as a couple GMs on Twitter, there's been some complaints about this tactic on this map.
Well, people brought it up as a potential when they first heard Catalina was coming back in, you know, after they decided Frost was a no-go. So I'm not surprised, but it is the first time we'll be seeing it in action, as we just don't see Catalina that often, and it's only been a week since the new map has been released, so that makes sense. Yeah, it's you know... I'm looking, there's of course a decent amount of space for the Reapers to jump up on, but there's also just so much space for them to run around. It's like another issue that's far away from the creep. The Queens won't be able to quite help out. And it's not too much of a jump to the main to the natural, so you can get that, you know, sort of like where are they going to attack from option. And the natural base isn't too shallow of a ramp either, which can help the Zerg player against Reapers if they can get that high ground advantage. Like, for instance, think about like Habitation Station. That was probably the most shallow ramp that I can think of, like right up against your base, and it sucked for Reapers. But that's not the case in Catalina.
I feel
it's still okay.
Like the map, you're not wrong, and I'm not trying to refute your point, but it also has a lot to do with just the way the players use the Reapers too. Some people are gonna make Reapers work on any map. Take Proxima, take whatever,
yeah,
and
Proxima.
like you can make Reapers happen. It's just a matter of like whether they're good enough to execute that. Also, I forgot about the Octopus in the middle.
I think maybe in an ideal world, this is really getting to like, this is the absolutely perfect situation to go for Reapers, is probably when HeroMarine is where he is and Namshar is in the other position that he could be, because then you're just like rallying right to their main base, you know, like no pit stops or turnarounds or roundabouts to take.
Too many goddamn zombie grub subs in our chat right now. Holy mother of spam.
They're all just passionate. This is how I get my money's worth.
Because like
Ripkin never subs to me.
Yeah, it's like Ripkin, why don't you bring back that Catalina like emote? And I'm gonna, cause guys, you gotta sub to Zombie Grub. Gotta get her that cash money.
It's your lord.
That was a lot, right? That's impressive, actually. It's been a long time since we've seen spam like that. Yeah, hoi hoi hoi. Yeesh. Reaper attacks are starting to commence. I guess one of the really good things for Namshar that I like before this even hits, though, is that he does have a lot of creep spread between the main and the natural. Probably would have been a big issue having Queens try and shuffle between the two, but again, it's less about that terrain for me at least, and more about how both these players are going to handle their units here.
Yeah, but it is just like, it's really scary when the Reapers can jump up multiple locations, jump up in multiple bases easily and quickly, and have a lot of room to micro when they are attacking. And that is currently lacking just because HeroMarine wasn't very aggressive with the Reapers. So that the Q spread has been able to develop, the Queens are on top of that ramp, the creep is on the main base, like everything,
dude,
looking good for Namshar.
I just kind of had a realization what these new Reaper skins look like from the front. And it's like watching, like from Beast Wars, Optimus is like gorilla mode or whatever, just like...
Okay, that, but I was also gonna say like the stretchy things.
The stretchy?
What were they called? Like they were like, they were filled with sand and they just were like a
Stretch
pointed
Armstrong?
body. No, they were a pointed body and you would like stretch the arms. So the idea was the same as a Stretch Armstrong, but it was not human shaped. And someone might know in chat.
Stretch Armstrong was the shit, by the way. I remember playing with that thing for so long, and like my hands would always smell like super rubbery after.
Yeah, that was the worst thing about playing with it, is they always smell super rubbery. I don't know what it is, but I've taken like a lot of trips from Korea in these past 2 months, right? So I've gotten used to like what Korean people are like when they fly, I guess. And I bring this up because I also happen to like always sit next to a kid.
Oh.
They are always playing with putty. Like, I don't, is this the thing that I missed? They are doing it.
Silly Putty's back, dude. But also, speaking of back, 2 medevacs come with all these Reapers. The Gumiho style of handling this. I'm not sure if HeroMarine can execute this to its fullest potential, but we've seen what really good Korean Terrans can do with this, and it can be disgusting. Yes,
it can. Well, Namshar, you know, he might have defended well against the Reapers, because the Reapers didn't really do very much. But he's still not a really great economy. He's still working on that. Getting to a pretty quick lair, but still with an evolution chamber upgrading away and a Bailey nest here. I think Namshar has the tools if he makes a handful of banelings to deal with this. But he's only realizing now, potentially, that it is medevacs. And, well, lucky him, he gets a lot of damage done on that first one. Just the queen's in the right position. Lings, not so much. Only half of his lings back at home.
There's so many grenades that are gonna get popped too. But I will note he does have the Carapace upgrade, which is huge. We didn't really go over this, but it's a massive way to deal with Reapers. But if you don't have the numbers to deal with the Reapers, then that won't even matter. But looks like just barely gonna cut it.
Okay, so he barely saves 2 medevacs. Those both should have died, I think. Dang.
I didn't realize this went through. The Reaper grenade nerf, 5 damage. Someone in chat was bringing it up.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was tomorrow.
Yeah, I did not realize that was already live. But okay, today I learned. So yeah, Reaper grenade nerf live, guys. Only 5 damage. I was like, man, that didn't barely tickle those circlings at all.
Well, to be honest, even if it was the old Reapers, this... I think that Namshar still would have been okay. I mean, it's a little hard to say because sometimes the grenades really do enough damage.
Well, so I agree with you because the Reapers initially didn't really do much. They didn't force out too much.
Yeah.
They didn't cause any damage. Like, to be honest, this was a fairly weak opening out of HeroMarine.
At best, they kept Namshar in a lower economy than what a Zerg player would want. Because HeroMarine's actually been matching him on work account for a very long time, but I don't think that actually makes up for how late your real army is, you know? Like your Marine Bio Splash, whatever the Splash is going to be army.
Turns out HeroMarine's actually sponsored by Blizzard, and his only goal in this game is to show off units from the war chest.
Yes. I mean, Reapers are going to distract in the main, and attack the third base happens alongside this, and this is so far an effective duo attack.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. This one in the main like does some decent damage, but man, all the queens over here are gonna make sure this doesn't get too much more done. Even with the Liberate, even with the Widow Mines. Just too many transfuses.
Widow Mine gets an okay hit. He can still get out with the, I was gonna say the 1 medevac.
Oh! That Bailey almost scumbagged the rest of his friends.
Yeah, right? Reaper drop goes into the natural, and HeroMarine's still trying to get damage done. 8 drones is not bad because of the thing I just mentioned that HeroMarine's never really been far behind on his SCV count.
I think the problem is
base.
Exactly, like it's not gonna be, and I don't think he's gonna aim for one, right? Like this is a lift up.
Oh, he has one.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I thought he was gonna lift the command centers, like just 2 base it super hardcore. But you're right.
But it's still like it's not the fastest third. It's only just turning into an orbital.
My concern though is like actually this third he wants to take has already got creep on it though.
All right, so that's pretty bad. But Namshar is still not in a very good position to be aggressive and take advantage of that, so it is gonna be cleaned up. Namshar, again, only just now getting to a comfortable economy at 62 drones and 4 bases. He isn't even that impressive.
I'm trying to figure out what got those drone kills just now, but I guess the Widow Mine rearmed before getting killed there.
Yeah. How much total was it? 15 drone kills. That's pretty good because he saved a lot of those medevacs and you know, had a decent economy.
It takes like 1 million grenades to kill a tumor now.
What was that sound?
I'm listening and I'm not hearing anything weird.
No, it sounded like a sound from Final Fantasy 14, to be honest. That was really weird. Anyway, this doesn't appear to be anything.
Zamgriff just wants you guys to cheer bits so she can hear the Final Fantasy noises.
No, that type of sound. But sure, yeah, that's what I was going with it. Unfortunately, HeroMarine, he had a good army. He had the creeps, you know, cleaned up, and he's about to have a really good third. Nope, no, he takes care of it.
The thing is, Namshar actually gets really dedicated off a creep, and with the grenades causing the banelings to go flying, no real solid connections.
You know, he got that early connection to like a group of Marines, and he, you know, probably thought he was going to do really well with it. Because Catalina, in this situation too, when you have this third base right up against that creep spread, and Namshar's own third base, which is eventually going to be the case, whether it's third or fourths, you're gonna like easily snowball one way or the other because you're just right up against each other. So I don't blame Namshar for getting a little too aggressive off of that creep. He took an initially very good fight, but he should have pulled back, and eventually he did. So now 4 base 71 drones looks a lot better for a Zerg player, with a 5th on the way and creep spread still going on other parts of the map.
Well, Reaper's just kind of chunking away here. I'm surprised they're even alive still, to be honest, but you know, kind of impressed that they are.
You don't see Hydras hop too often.
Yo, the thing that kills me is that the grenades do so little damage. The hop actually looks really dumb. Yet somehow in my mind, doing 10 damage, you're like, oh, that was a big enough explosion to make something jump. This is like someone set off a cherry bomb near you and you like, what, that's supposed to launch me across the room?
Yeah.
I do like the Liberator harass, still just getting what he can here and there. I don't think HeroMarine's in such a horrible position. Like, I love what he's kind of doing here. A mistake for sure. I think he made the scan and not mule.
You know, like he muled so correctly on the creep tier where I'm
But
like,
he's like, what if the impact from the mule could actually kill what it's on? That would make them the sickest orbital strikes of all time.
That was awfully confusing. Yeah. So, 4th base is going to be taken now. This has turned into quite a macro game. But it's going to continue being difficult, like one way or the other. It's going to push. And it looks like it pushes in Namshar's favor. He takes out the 3rd base because HeroMarine was slightly out of position.
Okay, so HeroMarine, by the way, notices the Banelings are way away from the army, so he dives in to try and pick off the queens. Doesn't quite catch them before they get on creep, though, and Namshar's army will escape. This is pretty rough. I mean, this base is up, but it's not running, you know? There's production here he has to protect.
Well, it's so rough for me because that's a fight that he could have taken and probably done fairly well with, but he was just out of position. And now he's on creep. None of his tanks are even that staged, and he might just lose this engagement.
Yo, the Baneling focus fire there was seriously on point.
That's pretty cool, but a lot of HeroMarine's army is in those medevacs. He's getting pushed back, losing another tank.
Save some, though. I mean, the thing is, like, credit where it's due, that army out of Namshar should have crushed HeroMarine if that was all on creep. But taking the Banelings off of the creep halfway, now getting a bit extended, like, there's reasons why this isn't ending the game. But, man, oh man, this has been such a weird fight for both players for the last few minutes.
It has, but just, you know, the fact that the 3rd is taken down is absolutely the biggest thing. And HeroMarine has not been able to deal damage to Namshar's economy since that Liberator got an additional, like, 4 or 5 drone kills. So 5 bases, 70 drones for a very long time. Namshar not rolling in the dough and not even, like, you know, really exploding on army supply or tech. He's stalled out on tech, but he's gotten every single upgrade he possibly can, so his army's pretty good. But in terms of momentum and pacing, he certainly has the upper hand because of that 3rd snipe. It was a snipe, like, it's just fortunate position for HeroMarine. He's gonna try and make up for it.
Oh no! Oh my God! The saturation on this base. If Banelings roll in here, this is everything.
He should be lifting his main and transferring that.
No! Zombie Grub, I see it happening.
God.
I can already visualize it.
The lack of scouting, man. One Marine could have saved so much of his economy.
No! A base, 30 workers, that's it. I don't care how good the fights go. There's no way he's recovering from that.
He would need to take an absolutely fantastic fight, which he's starting to because he's taking all the Banelings off the creep, and the Hydras can't really retreat either. If he could actually carry this momentum to a real push down the middle of the map, then maybe he has a chance. But there's still so much creep spread to get through. So much creep spread. Namshar just exploded in the middle of the map that was never really touched. Even the left side still continues on. And Namshar could buy a lot of time by just letting bases die. You know, as long as he got back up to a decent army.
You know those infinity pools? It's like that, but with creep. Yes. You just can't see the edge of it, but you're right. Like, this is momentum that could get carried through. HeroMarine's actually up in army supply. He's got some good upgrades, and of course there's tanks, not Widow Mines to rely on here, so they're a little bit better. Taking engagements is going to be the worst thing Namshar can do. If he waits, he sets up for what is a 2-pronged attack, just has those Baneling hatch, and this like might go pretty well for him, frankly, but if he goes too soon, maybe not. Gets caught on this side, though. Baneling's on the wrong side, too. He's on creep, can't get them to finish. Hydra's gonna die out. This forces the engagement on the right side, removes the tanks from the equation.
Oh my god, HeroMarine's gonna do it. HeroMarine is quadrupling the army supply.
No way.
He attacked fast enough and strong enough he didn't spend any time cleaning up that creep spread.
Oh my god, Namshar.
And Namshar is gonna still lose.
He's got like no banelings to work with. That's the problem. Like he's got plenty of Hydras. Money wasn't a problem for a while there. Is the unit type that was like, is blowing me away. This is working. Tanks may have been taken out, but there's still more where that came from. After taking such devastating 2 base losses like that, for HeroMarine to lose the 3rd and then the 4th, like, oh my god, I can't believe it. This is so sick.
I can almost guarantee if this is like a Dusk Towers or rather
you know what?
like, in the map pool.
Dude,
like
I forgot about
different
this.
game.
We haven't talked about this dynamic for so long because we've never seen this many medevacs. Yo, before we leave, hang on, what was the medevac count there? 11. Like, you don't see that many medevacs, but back in HOTS, when you were dealing with Roach Hydra that was so popular, one of the big things was have a stupid amount of medevacs because the sustain would out heal a lot of the damage. And like, I guess when you consider it's lower Hydras, no banelings, like those medevacs that we complained about him having too many of were kind of the silent MVPs of the end of that game.
Well, yeah, I don't know if we ever complained he had too many, just that at some points it was like all of his army supply.
Okay,
just because he had lost a lot of Marines.
Too much of his army supply of what the overall supply was medevacs. You're like, how could he fight with an army? But yeah, like, maybe complain's the wrong word. Either way, still cool that those worked, that worked, that he actually won that game. Like, what?
Yeah, longer map, more time spent clearing up creep, trying to be a little more cautious with that, and he probably still loses. But he took that momentum and ran with it.
Yo, if we get more games like this, I'm very happy Catalina's back. I'll play that dumb intro every single time. But I guess we're going to wait for the loser's pick map. I don't want to go to commercial. Looks like HeroMarine's going to the bathroom anyway, so maybe we just will. So, see you guys in 2 minutes. Hey folks, we're back. We're still waiting on that map pick here to get into the game. Namshar's been mulling it over, I suppose. Someone in chat, by the way, who's this discomment. I don't know how to pronounce that differently. I'm sorry, friendo. He says, do you guys give out replay packs? And if you guys don't know, yes, but only to subscribers. Every tournament we cast, with the exception of some, like the Alima League and others that have control of their own replay packs, we gladly hand out replay packs too. So for example, if you guys really enjoyed the Corsair Cup, you're liking the games you saw here today, we will absolutely be sending these replay packs out to our subscribers after the tournament concludes. But again, only to our subs. That being said, thank you guys again for the kind support. You know, our sub count, it's been tough. It's been tough watching it slowly bleed out. We're still barely above 1,000, which is great. So all of the subs we've got today are awesome. And again, thank you guys so much for that support. Hit the follow button, though, if you haven't already. We just surpassed 88,000. Getting closer and closer, climbing that road, guys. So hit that follow button if you haven't, if you're enjoying the show. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. And, of course, it'll help you keep up to date with all the shows. But did Namshar like disappear? I think it's a best of 3 or something. Yeah,
I mean, he just temporarily disappeared. He's back.
Okay, I was gonna say, should I message him on Skype or what the deal is? Okay.
Yeah, he said he was so devastated. That was a rough game, but maybe now he can try and just.
You know, I can see him being like. You sit there, you destroy a base, you demolish another and all the SCVs. You gotta wonder, like, how did I lose that game? Because I thought, like, man, HeroMarine, there's no chance. But that was so sick watching that momentum.
Yeah. I was gonna say, maybe he can just use it to fuel his rage in this next game. And he does finally choose Ascension to Ire.
Okay, let's hope this map works.
Oh, yeah. I think...
No, I know it will. It's just that we tested them all. It's only those 2 that were, which is weird because Catalina's an old one. I don't see why that would have a problem. I understand why Acolyte would, because that's a brand new one.
Did you test Interloper and McDepot?
Yes, those both work.
Interesting.
I think your breaker 1808. By the way, for the prime, or no, not prime, just regular sub. Kano Smash for 17 months. Hoi hoi hoi. Partoof comes back for 46 months. My God. Mr. Boris Makarov as well for 37. Oh, hi. This is here. Also, no spoilers about My Hero Academy, but all right. Dude, I wish I had a real life All Might I could look up to. Ray Bones. Ray, thank you for that Twitch Prime sub.
Ray.
Ray.
You pronounced my name during my shout-out.
Look, dude, I can't say names. If you guys are subscribing to BaseTradeTV, the first thing you gotta know is that I'm not gonna say your name right. And it's not for lack of trying, and it's not for lack of caring. It's just sheer ineptitude. This is a man who thinks viscosity is density. I don't know words. I don't know names.
He didn't say mispronounce, but maybe that's what he meant. He just said you pronounced his name. So for all we know, you use it correctly.
Oh. My point still stands. All right, game number 4. Looking to close it out here. Might be the last one, depending on how this goes, because in the bottom right, he's about to be proxied. It's Namshar.
And the top left has the red Terran. It's HeroMarine.
And he snuck his way in there, so we'll give him some love too. Bob, king of 12 versus... 12 versus what, though?
Bob, king of 12.
12 versus Twitch Prime subs? I don't think. Thank you for the Prime sub, dude.
Yeah. So, a Marine Rush is be coming back into play. Not the 2 racks that initially came back into play with the Koreans, but I don't know what it is. Foreigners especially are using the old, like, 4 racks up again. That's just weird. Although in this case it's just 3 racks. Okay. Well. Usually it come with a bunker. You just wait till you have certain Marines and just try and run in. But if you can afford the bunker, then that certainly will help kill that base, kill the natural. And he looks like he's setting up for it. It's weird because if it's a 4 racks, I would say no bunker. Just all in, try and hope that it wins. And if it's a 2 racks and absolutely a bunker, and then that's where like it's the macro game back at home with a factory. But it's like very in between.
Yeah. By the way, some people in chat were asking about the subscriber thing again. I'll get to that after. Because this game could be decided by this drone pull, actually, before and against Namshar. Usually this punches the Marines down, but that micro's pretty good out of here. Marine brings the low one back.
He's not. He didn't actually target the SCV.
But if he keeps the Marines from getting inside the bunker, they are going to be irrelevant.
Yeah, that's true. Lings are now on the way out, but it took them quite a while.
Let's see, something loaded in was the SCV.
Yeah, just trying to buy time, you know, but he's going to end up salvaging that.
He's repairing it so it salvages. Brilliant. Genius.
But is this really enough Marine production? 7 Marines doesn't sound that scary, to be honest, because he still has, well, maybe not.
I don't know. I think speed. I think with speed finishing up, the Lynx should be able to handle this, because at some point they're going to have to come on creep, right?
But at that point, they might be a large enough number. The problem is that Namshar did lose drones with all that pull, and a lot of mining time too, so we can't flood as many Lings as one would hope, or as he would hope.
Yeah,
this is just a little questionable.
HeroMarine's got so much money, it's unfortunate he can't spend it all properly right now. This is the point where he might just expand behind this.
I think he is. I think he's planning on it.
Yeah, cancels the bunker finally. A couple SCVs are right at the front line, hopes of maybe fixing guarding. Drones get pulled once again. Nice position for the Marines, but they are fully surrounded at this point. Ling's doing the job, and he's going to stop the attack. But HeroMarine,
yeah, he's expanding. He expanded in the high ground too, so he's not going to lose it.
He's been left with such a terrible worker count too behind this. Like 12 drones is not very great to work off of. Granted, we've watched players try and play it out from 2 drones, but 12 is still going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, right. Oh gosh. Okay, well, not too often see the game continue past that point. Like if it's the factory, like 2 racks in the factory, then sure, that's always gonna go into a certain mid game, even if it looks really bad for either player.
Oh, depots were down, so it didn't matter.
Just kidding. Never mind.
Why though? Why? There was. All right, Namshar ties things up now, 2-2, and we're gonna go to game 5. I don't really have words for that. Like that was just a mistake. It was a simple mistake. I didn't like the proxy Marines in the first place. It was kind of close to working, but this is one of those strategies like the proxy gateways from Protoss, where we look at people like Zest doing it and you go, why though? It doesn't work anytime we ever see anyone do it. I
would have rather seen like the full committal on 4 racks, just like blitz of the Marines. As because that we did see work like in like Atlanta, for instance, and 1 or 2 Koreans did it.
Well, see what the map is out of HeroMarine. Doesn't have that many to pick from. Of course, while this waits, we do have Keen and Alive, hopefully not getting too tired, patiently waiting on the other semifinals. So there is going to be a Korean TVT happening after. And of course, the winner will go on to the grand finals.
TVT.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm cheering for at this point, because on one hand, it's like, it'd be really cool if HeroMarine won. Keeps up that story that's been building from the last cup. On the other hand, Namshar is a really good player who's just had this history of like doing well on the channel, but never quite cinching it. So it'd be nice to see him go through to the finals as well.
Well, players are here. Yeah, I'd be happy with either one. Going up against a Korean Terran.
Well, as we get to the underwater map, let's see if the mouse stayed fixed. Or if my theory is just going to be destroyed by science.
Yeah. Destroyed by science. That's usually your logical problems.
I always hate when logic, reason, and science get in the way of things. Only made worse by when math gets involved, too.
It didn't stay fixed.
No, it didn't. What? Maybe it's like the first game? Like, just restart StarCraft after every game.
Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and get right on that.
All right, well, things are tied up 2-2, and looks like my science theory has been, unfortunately, debunked. Myth disproven. In the top left, we've got Mouse Sports, Blue Terran, HeroMarine.
In the bottom right, as the Red Zerg, it's Namshar.
Oh boy. So, while we wait for this game to kick off, I do want to once again give a shout out to our sponsors over on Twitch. We had a lot of people Twitch Prime subbing today. I love to see that shit, guys. Cheers are just as good, because the thing is, at the end of the day, anything you do to interact with Twitch here on our channel is not just good for us, but also good for Twitch. And without them, the monthly finals, the season finals, it wouldn't have this bulked up $400 prize pool. Corsair, on the other hand, provides the $100 every single week, seeding these tournaments, making them possible. But of course, it's the two of them coming together to make such an awesome, awesome month-to-month event. Also, this month, I'm not sure what changed. Maybe it's because it's summer. Maybe it's because people were just hungry for money. We've had the best signups for the Corsair Cup we've had all year through this past month, and I'm hoping to see more of that as we continue going forward.
Yeah, that would be ideal. It's been pretty good, even with quite a few tournaments happening. It's been good numbers.
Yeah. Oh man, this next month's gonna be pretty rough too. To give you guys a bit of a preview, like I already sort of tweeted about this, not really an announcement. This is more of like a leak of information, but like we got 2v2 tournaments planned. We got the Ting Season 4 qualifiers coming up soon. We got our regular events, Corsair Cup. We got Alima League. We got BTSL, and now we're adding in Colonial Wars. Technically, this should be like the busiest month coming up, because on top of all of that, you still got the WCS Montreal qualifiers. WCS Montreal itself coming up. Like, there is still so much on the way.
Very early on in September, basically August.
I do wish, though, man, we had this job security, this prowess of power, of popularity, back when StarCraft 2 was bigger. It feels nice knowing that we're doing something almost every single day, but it's like, man, I wonder how different it would be if this was back when StarCraft was at its peak.
Always hard to say, because there are so many, there's so many startups, kind of like along the same lines as BaseTradeTV. Usually solo casters trying to do their own thing, but still the idea was similar, that it's just like, it's about being
like that
swamped,
warty kid, am I right?
Sure, yeah. I feel like now, I don't know. This is actually, it's really hard to distinguish between what is nostalgia and like the different like places that I was, 6 years ago. I was like a little bottom feeder type, and then now like usually we're the B stream of the BCS events. Like it's hard to compare, but I felt like there were so many more community casters that were like actually legitimately like getting a lot of views, and like were like always like who's next in line to be the big caster. There were so many of them, and now I don't know. We're very concrete in who is who in StarCraft. There's no new pop-ups every day.
By the way, since Alaska Winter was asking about in chat, I did link the Team Liquid thread to the 2v2 Cup. It is worth noting we are moving that day because there's an unannounced event that is pretty big happening the same day, so we'll be moving the 2v2 date. But you got all the other information there, including the Archon stuff and other cool things. At least I think it's unannounced, right?
It is.
Okay.
I'm just like, well, what could it be? Well, we have Namshar going for a 2-base Roach Warren, but with an evolution chamber, so maybe just delayed third, fast flare, fast speed, etc., etc. Not usually how you're gonna play against a Terran player, or even Protoss nowadays, like a ZvT build. But he'll have the roaches in time to deal with any Hellbat shenanigans. But it's not. There's no armory. It's just a Hellion opener with a Raven follow-up of that starport. Or a Hellion drop, I suppose, but yeah, no armory.
I think Hellion drops can still be really good
What?
because it's that surprise factor.
Well, wait a minute. So
Wait,
Namshar,
Where's this drop over here?
it was right there. Like, so he's not gonna. I thought he was gonna go for +1 and like the lair and just get like roach speed really fast. Like I was talking about like a ZvZ build, but 2 Overlord drops.
Well, it's gonna be the queen
roaches.
push, right? Like we've seen this all in before, but in doing so, it takes all the defense away from home. So the Hellions are gonna get away with these drone kills, and the response time is gonna be limited at best.
Well, it's pretty cool to see Namshar throw out this build. You know, it's usually pretty unique to 1 or 2 players. Things specifically like Solar, for instance, but that did take away all his defense. 12 drones go down on already low drone counts. Namshar even more all-in than he was.
Oh, you know what?
These lings look scary, but there's enough Marines in the main react.
Yeah, in between what's gonna be at least 2 tanks, the Raven, the Marine fodder, like this drop is not gonna accomplish what it wants to. I mean, normally the queens, they just soak the tank hits, right? Like, who cares? They're going to be able to take that damage, but...
Right, yeah.
Oh, he unloads a little bit early to try and snipe the SCV, but fails to do so. Just takes a lot of damage unnecessarily.
Oh, this is actually... It's looking like a disaster. The queens can be effective as, you know, as far as the push goes, especially against a 1-1-1, because they snipe the Banshee, they snipe the Raven, they snipe the Medivacs, like, whatever comes out. And, of course, the Transfuses. Helps so much with the Roaches and Ravagers, but... there's just not enough chaos, I feel. Even though Namshar's up in army supply, Banner's advantage goes a long way. Double tank bunker.
He's a little bit late on that bunker repair, though, so he might just lose it.
God.
But the queens are already gone.
Yeah.
This hinged around the transfuses. This hinged around the queens. GG. I hope you guys like Terran, because it's all Terran here on out. But what's cool is this is now going to be a guaranteed representation of Europe versus Korea when we get to the finals. Congratulations to HeroMarine, because he takes the 3-2. But now we're going to be swapping servers, probably, since we do have 2 Koreans coming up with Keen and Alive. So we're going to take a little bit of a longer break than average. Nothing too crazy, but we'll be back in like maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll see you guys with that other semifinals match of Keen versus Alive when we get back. So sit tight. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.